What's up, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Wizards Latest. I'm your host and DC sports fan, Ben Robertson, and on this page, we break down all the biggest headlines surrounding the Washington Wizards. So make sure to like and subscribe down below if you haven't done so already. Drop your comments with any thoughts you might have on the video. Again, whether it's about Summer League, whether it's about future roles for next season. Would love to hear your comments. Try to interact with you guys down there as much as I can, and I appreciate all of the support. Trust me, if you're consistently down in the comment section, I am noticing and I really appreciate it. Let's keep it rolling here on the page and let's jump right in today. Want to take another look at how this rookie class, the draft class from this past year, performed in the summer league. Kind of want to continue giving out grades for those rookies in particular today. I'm going to try to give out some grades. You'll see what I mean on that in just a sec. Want to break down what Trey Johnson's role should be going into next year. Want to follow up our veteran discussion from yesterday. Go check out that video if you want to hear that. Continue chatting a little bit about CJ McCollum. And lastly, why it's a good time to be a Wizards fan. And I will continue to say the future is bright here in DC. If you're not on the wagon, hop on it, get on board, because things are trending up for the Wizards. So once again, appreciate all of the support, you guys, and let's roll here today. How impressive was this year's draft class in the summer league? I'm not really sure if how to not give all three of them an A, to be quite honest. I'll try to look at the three draft picks from this year and be as objective as possible, but really this was a pretty impressive showing from all three players and just what you're looking for from your rookie class. So first off, number 6 overall pick, Trey Johnson. Great performance from him in both games that he played. 18 points in game one, 7 of 13 from the floor, 3 of 5 from three-point land. Followed that up with a 21-point performance, 7 of 11 from the floor in game two against Brooklyn, 2 of 6 from beyond the arc. Averaged 19 and a half points for his 2 summer league games played. Highest point per game average for a Wizard summer league player since John Wall, when he won the summer league MVP back in 2010. Wall averaged 23 and a half points, almost 8 assists in the 4 games he played that year. It was a slightly bigger sample size, obviously, but Wall was much less more efficient. Trey shot it with 58%, 45%, and 60% shooting splits in those 2 games this summer. Super impressive. By the way, shout out John Wall. There were some reports he said actually a few months back he was, maybe not sure his career was done, or maybe had hopes of getting back in the league. For Wizards fans of my era, John Wall was the absolute man, the absolute guy, and an impressive summer league showing that sort of forecasted what he did in his career. But I don't want to, get sidetracked with John Wall too much, because I was so impressed with what Trey Johnson was able to do in those 2 games. Obviously, the scoring ability on full display, whether it's the just, the quick release from beyond the arc, whether it's the contested shot making, and even the ability to put the ball on the deck and get his way into the lane and get buckets that way as well. Something that I will continue to harp on, and Trey Johnson and this coaching staff and the front office as well continues to talk about. And Trey even said after one of his summer league games, he said, none of the coaches or front office care if I score. They only care if I play defense. And while don't think that means they don't want Trey to be a successful scorer and they don't want him to get serious buckets in the league, I think they understand what they have at the offensive end with Trey Johnson and continue just to want to push him as far as they can and as much as they can at the other end of the court, continuing to build that defensive identity that we have talked about here on the page. So, want to move on to the other first rounder, Will Riley. Averaged 10 and a half points per game in his 2 summer league appearances, like Trey Johnson. It was a 16-point effort for Riley in game 2 against the Nets. after only 5 points in game one. And, maybe depending on how much you weigh that game one matchup, where really honestly, most of the team struggled outside of Keyshawn George and Trey Johnson. Maybe that brings down Will Riley to a B grade for his summer league outings, but I think you get one really solid performance from your number 21 overall pick in summer league. That's kind of what you're looking for. So at the worst, I might give him a B. I think I'm still sticking with the A grade for Riley, to be quite honest. And my point with, the grading, to be quite honest, I don't see how you give, it's hard to not give all three of these draft picks an A, to be quite honest. They did exactly what you were looking for, really, from all three of their draft spots, especially with, when you think about Riley, how much was made about that number 18 pick. And there was some pressure on that, again, including from myself. Will Dawkins said, I don't care. I'm going to trade back, get back into the second round, get Jameer Watkins, who has obviously paid off. And it looks like Riley could be a legitimate prospect as well. That brings me to Jameer Watkins. 11 points, 5 rebounds, and averaged more than 4 steals per game in his 5 summer league appearances. Believe him and Liam Robbins were the only players to actually appear in all 5 summer league games. Obviously, put on really a defensive masterclass, especially those last 3 performances for him. Of course, the 7 steal game against Philly. Did struggle a little bit offensively, only shot about 33% from the field. Did get going a little bit there against the Knicks in game five with 23 points. But just again rounds out potentially one of the best draft classes in the entire league this year with those 3 picks, and just seriously impressive value to find in the second round, and makes Will Dawkins' decision to trade back in the first round and then go back up and get another pick in the second round look even better here now as we look back at it a little bit in review. So, want to move on to Trey Johnson. And really, I mentioned, our third point there on the rundown will sort of be a follow up to yesterday. This is a bit of a follow up as well. With the summer league wrapped up, we can start to look ahead to what Trey's role is going to be in the NBA this year. And I'm going to continue to say, I got to see Trey Johnson in the starting lineup. To me, I think that is top priority. I want to see him on the court as much as possible. And look, we got to be honest. One of the young talents, or one of the talented players on the roster, is going to be, not get the minutes or the time that they might deserve or might need to really reach their potential and develop the way they need to. Again, we, chatted about yesterday. If CJ McCollum ends up in the starting lineup, which I'm going to touch on again here in a sec, well, Bub Carrington or Trey Johnson likely has to go to the bench. If you look at the wing spots with Keyshawn George, Cam Whitmore, Bilal Coulibaly, you imagine only 2 of them earns themselves a starting spot. There's only 5 spots in the starting lineup, and of course you have Chris Middleton, and Corey Kispert still, sort of in that mix as well. The only spot right now to me that seems like it's clear is really the 5 spot with Alex Sarr. And I know you guys, a lot of you guys have expressed to me, well, we don't think Sarr is a 5. We don't think he's a center anyway. He's, projects as maybe more of a 4. Right now, I don't think the front office believes that. And I think they're at least want to see Sarr there at the center spot for another year and see what they have in that regard. So for me, that looks like it's the only spot that's really, solidified right now moving forward, at least for next year. And, I've mentioned again here now today and yesterday, talking about CJ McCollum a little bit here, and why, well, it might be my preference for Bub and Trey to be in the starting lineup, why I think there's, a serious possibility that CJ ends up there. And first of all, I know this sounds surface level, but he's making $30 million. He just averaged 21 points per game. I don't care where you are in the league, guys like that rarely come off the bench. Now, dig a little bit deeper, and I think the front office still has ideas of flipping CJ. Especially if he has a really nice start to the year. I think they still have the thought that they can get some value back for CJ McCollum. And let's be real, he probably has to be on the court and playing a lot to do that, which is why I think he might find his way into the starting lineup. Lastly, I just want to say, one more time, and I'm going to keep saying this on the page. So make sure you like and subscribe. But one of the reasons I was so excited to, sort of begin this journey with you guys at the time that I did, and appreciate you guys again just welcoming me into the Wizards community, dropping your takes down below. Love interacting with you guys down there in the comment section, over on Twitter as well. But the Wizards are just beginning to climb back, back up into NBA contention. Regardless of what you think the goal is for this coming year, they have brought in finally a competent front office that knows how to scout and develop talent, that's overturned a roster in just a couple of short years and provided it with massive flexibility, even as soon as next offseason. And there's just so many possibilities going forward. It honestly makes this show really fun and makes our discussions, even better, whether it's about player additions or trades, or even today, just looking at what the lineup is going to be for next year. There's so many kind of differing opinions or different avenues and routes that this team can kind of take. Even if just look at which players they sort of prioritize developing and try to improve and being part of the core moving forward. We're going to continue to chat about it all right here on Wizards Latest. Again, appreciate all of the support. Drop your comments down below, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit me over on Twitter at Ben Robertson 32 as well. Would love to interact with you guys there. And thanks for watching another episode of Wizards Latest.